Hey, good morning everybody. Sunday morning, it's a relatively cool morning. We've had a very wet and cool spring, but this last week it's turned hot and dry. Yesterday I came through and I trimmed a lot of the plants, did a little bit of weeding, and this morning I'm going to spread some mulch, and I thought, well, I'll run my work train around while I do it. I know you're not very interested in me spreading mulch. Occasionally you might see me in the background. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to set up the camera in different locations and film a few run-bys and post it. So I haven't done much G-scale stuff lately. I haven't run this NW2 much lately either. So it's battery powered, has Phoenix sound. I'm just going to run the lower loop today. I'm not going to run the upper loop. Just don't feel like getting it out. But I just like having the train run for an hour or so while I'm out here. Notice the barbed wire. We're not running a concentration camp here, but one of our cats has figured out a way to climb the fence. So I'm going to have to go around our entire yard and do that. Because what he can do is he can put his feet, he jumps, very athletic. He jumps from here and gets to the top of the fence, but the barbed wire keeps him from doing that. So I'll be doing that this week too. Let me set the camera. Just like I said, just be a few run-bys, no switching anything today. Just but this time of year, everything is looking pretty good. You can see this stuff is cascading down really well. That stuff is blooming. That thing is really taking off. Our dwarf Alberta spruces are growing like crazy. These plants constantly need to be trimmed back all the time. So it won't be that way in August. In August, you struggle just to keep them alive here in Kentucky because the hot sun just beating down on them really is tough. You can water them while you want. Oh, I had a washout there. Had to get some gravel just like the real railroads do. Oh, I can see. All right, so you see that plant is dragging on the crane, so I'm going to have to trim that back. So, all right, let me get this set up and just shoot some run-bys. Okay, as someone who's been tangled up in barbed wire many times in his life, I do know the difference between barbed wire and chicken wire. So, I don't know why I call that barbed wire twice, but it's chicken wire. I'm not going to add a lot of narration to this, just going to enjoy the run-bys. So, did derail one time. Train ran over a piece of mulch, big chunk. But after that, I just ran pretty perfect. That's Mouse, one of our cats. Alright, we can follow the train around and sort of see what I've done. Got 2 bags of mulch at Lowe's yesterday. Used maybe a bag and a third. Again, this layout is small. It's about the size of a 2x4 N-scale layout, with the exception of the yard that will be tacked on to the end. Very doable, very affordable. I don't have a fortune in track or rolling stock. Can't run -9s on it, can't run 6-axle diesels, probably be pushing it a little bit. I mean, technically they can make these curves, they would look kind of funny doing it. And probably right here, I would scrape the side out of the engines. So you know, I'd have to keep the plants trimmed back more. There's close clearance on that rock right there too. This is about all I do. Every once in a while I'll get some gravel. I have to shore it up. You know, walk out here and weed a little bit, pick up the weeds before they get too bad. You know, these are like violets, and they sort of grow wild. I didn't plant them there. They're all over the place, and my wife likes them. It's a little bit of green. They don't really intrude much, so I leave them. They're pretty when they bloom. Come on around here. Oh, I got to put my logs back, and I'll probably take a brush and go around and brush off the buildings and stuff. Excuse me. I have to put the logs back there. This is pretty much it. This is my controller. A battery power. I use it's a Revolution Phoenix sound, but this is the Train Engineer. Excuse me. So it's wireless. Just going around. Didn't have to do anything to the yard today, but I might get the shop back out, or the air blower, and just blow all these leaves off. You know, but I'm not planning on running trains anymore today. So even though I don't take G-scale as seriously as I do the other indoor scales, I'll show you a little bit of history I tried to build in here. Got an abandoned siding. Got some rails sitting there, and actually you can't hardly see it, but the far end is a foundation. And the foundation is the station, which is here. So the lumber company bought the station and restored it and used it as their office. So that's my story. Anyhow, obviously this plant here is just good, and it engulfs everything. I got to cut it back a bunch every year. It will just swallow that building and swallow the lumber company if I don't cut it back. So I may do that before I eat breakfast. Goldfish are doing well. Yesterday morning I cleaned out the upper pond, and I'll probably with string algae this year. I don't know if it's because the you know, cool weather, whatever, but man, it was getting kind of bad. So so I usually a couple times a year I've just got a filter and a pump down there. But I'll drain this upper pond, clean it all out, all the sediment out of it, and fill it back up. And that basically changes about a quarter of the water. Anyhow, not that big a deal. Do it in the morning. Takes about an hour. This looked beautiful a couple weeks ago, but now they're starting to get hot and dry. That's what's going to happen. It's not going to be pretty the rest of the year. I mean, it'll green up. It won't flower anymore. So. All right, I can smell the bacon cooking. My wife is making some breakfast, so I'm going to go in and I'm sure she's giving Chance little bits here and there because he really loves her. So she babies him. So I'll end this here. Hopefully this didn't put you to sleep after I woke you up with the switching video. But I wanted to do something for the G-Scale people, and you N-Scale guys, consider a small G-Scale layout. Gets you outside, gets the family involved, big, easy to handle. You know, if you just have like an NW2 or an S4 like I have here, you know, they're not super expensive. They're no more expensive than an N-Scale engine with sound, hardly. You can get them used, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. So, especially if you're up to age where you start having grandkids, man, you'd have a heart attack if your grandkid grabbed one of your N-Scale engines, but this stuff, they can't hardly hurt it. So everybody have a good Sunday, and I'll post a video of what I'm doing in N-Scale probably later today if I get that far. Stay safe.